Leggy, one thing I wanted to ask you just kind of out of the gates. I know that J.K. Dobbins, he was in for a visit. I don't see any downside to adding him to the roster. What do you think the holdup with him, though, is more money? And teams are pushing back thinking, well, you've had injury trouble. Like, what's the story of him still being available?
Well, usually it's just what you said. If a free agent's available at this point, uh, he and his reps aren't willing to come off their number, and no team has reached their number, or they'd be signed. Or and sometimes a guy figures, I want the best money for the best team I can get. Like, maybe J.K. Dobbins could have got more money from somebody who isn't considered sort of in the playoff mix. And you don't want that at this point. But, I get it in some ways, but I see Javonte Williams in this player. So, to me, it's you traded up to take a back in the draft, and now you're going to bring in a guy who essentially at this point in his career plays the same sort of way and is almost the exact same size as Javonte Williams. I mean, I think Dobbins is, 5'10", 215. I think Javonte's 5'10", 218, something like that. I mean, this is the same back, and he's had a torn ACL, a torn Achilles, and he missed 4 games last year with an MCL. So I get it. He's explosive at his best, and I'm sure that's what they see. And it tells me after a little bit of the rookie mini camp and the OTAs, they're still concerned about third down a little bit, at running back. They want the young guy to play there and hope he can. But this to me looks like you're looking for Javonte Williams after you let Javonte Williams go.
So after Jeff Legwold completely torched Brett Kane's theory, so you wanted insurance. You just wanted insurance policy.
Sure I did. I think that having depth in the backfield, especially from a veteran, which you don't have, it would be great.
Leggy, what would that price tag be, you estimate?
I'm not sure. I mean, you could look around. It's probably a one-year deal, a 2-year deal, something short. And the guy gets back in the market. I think if you're Dobbins, to come back from the 2 injuries, he missed all but 1 game in 2023. He missed all of the 2021 season. So I'm sure at this point, he wants as good a situation as he can get, because he knows, I mean, again, he missed 4 games last year after he had 2 really good games to open the year. And then after that, I think it was a bit of he wasn't nearly as good. He had a very good game against the Broncos, and I'm sure that had a little bit to do with the visit. Sure. He looked really good against the Broncos last year. So, but I think this is an indication the head coach really likes this team, and they want as much veteran insurance or insurance all over the place as they can get, because he feels really good about this team and he doesn't want to get caught shorthanded if they can avoid it.
I'm tired of glazing you, but I can't help it again. A good article on Bo Nix. And what I found to be interesting, Jeff, we're not talking football. We're talking about Bo Nix, the guy, right? The leader, the off-the-field kind of stuff, and maybe on the field a little bit, but it was really good at getting all those different perspectives. You think that's why, again, when Sean Payton looks at his quarterback, that he feels so secure? When you see these former teammates and these other people really glow about Bo Nix, the person, how much does that help with Sean Payton's confidence in this guy to be his guy for the next decade?
Moj, I think any coach wants to see, no matter what position you coach, you want to see guys who can handle their business, or you think can handle their business. And I've believed since Bo Nix walked in, whatever he has to work on as a football player, and like any player, there's a lot there he's got to work on and get better at, and all of those things. But the one thing he does as good as any young player I've ever seen is self-awareness. He's got a better self-awareness about where he is as a player, what he needs to do, what he wants to do. I think he has a better self-awareness than almost everybody else about him in the building. And I think that's a great advantage for him because he'll never get caught up in the rest of it, so to speak.
Is the word self-awareness or humility? Because I sense a bunch of humility. No matter how good he gets, he's always going to be sort of down to earth.
Well, I think that's all in that equation.
Yeah.
It's I think by self-awareness, I think he understands when he's on the field, it's fiery and, competitive and all of those things. And then when he's off the field, he's very good about stepping back and sort of peeling the layers away and say, okay, I get past fist bumps and confetti. What really happened on this play? What really happened in this game? I think he's really good at that. And that, I think Surtain is another guy who has that really good self-awareness. It's going to sound hokey, but you go back to to their families, the people who are around them. It's what they saw, what they learned, what they took away from their role models in their life. And I just think it really bodes well for him because young players get in a difficult situation when they start believing all of the criticism and when they start believing all of the praise. And I think that's the toughest thing, especially now with social media. If you're a young football player in the NFL, you can find commentary about you everywhere.
Yeah.
Constantly, and to deal with that, I think, is an important part of it.
The leading pass catcher as far as receptions from a tight end last year on the Broncos was Lucas Kroll, who had 19. Obviously, go ahead.
No, I think he was 250th in the league or something like that.
Jeff, when Brett laid out the numbers yesterday, we knew it was paltry. It was abysmal.
So whatever you're going to get out of Ingram is going to be a elevation from that. But what would you say is sort of bare minimum ideal season for Ingram from a numbers perspective, assuming he stays healthy for 17 games?
I don't think I'd look at it in catches. I think I would look at it as options for Nix in certain situations. Like if he has a high percentage of third down catches, I think that's good.
Got you.
If he has a high percentage of catches down the hash marks, vertical catches down the hash marks, I think that's good. That's where I would look because again, last year, only one other quarterback in the league had more passing yards than Bo Nix on crossing routes. So that tells you where the Broncos passing offense is right now. It's get the ball out of Nix's hand, and it's always going to be that with Sean Payton. But I think he adds diversity that they didn't have, and that to me, success is if when the season's over and you're crunching Bo Nix's numbers, you have a lot more variety in where the ball's going, and to me, that would be successful if they can do that.
I can't believe I'm asking this question, but I've seen some whispers of this out there, and I'm just going to flat out ask a guy who covers a team on a daily basis. Can the Broncos win the Super Bowl? What are all these talks? I mean, people are actually saying they're a contender, can be a contender. Are we there yet?
I guess, I don't want to be the get off my lawn guy all the time, but, how about they win the division first?
Yeah.
And let's talk about that. I think you have to show, if you're the Broncos or the Raiders or the Chargers, if you're in the AFC West, you have to show you can finish in front of the Chiefs. And then, to me, you could talk about the Super Bowl. But I'm not shocked you're seeing this all around in the national narrative because, again, I will tell you the head coach likes this team. And I'm sure he's conveyed that to people when he's spoken to them. Now, has he used the word Super Bowl? I don't know that, but I know he likes this team. He likes the way it's constructed. He likes what he and George Payton have done in free agency with, somewhat limited cap ability and all those things. They like their defense. They like their special teams, and he likes his quarterback. And in today's NFL, if you have those three things, you're in the playoff mix, frankly.
Good. Not that they snuck up on anybody last year, but they ain't sneaking up on anybody this year. I mean,
they don't get the NFC South, Moshe. I mean, they got 4 wins out of a division Sean Payton has owned,
Yep.
in his career. So I think there's a multiplier last year, in the record, because, that was a stroke of good fortune they don't have. And this coming season, the first 6 weeks of the year, they cannot afford to sort of stumble out of the gate. They have to finish August ready to go.
Yep.
Leggy, one last question. And Vic, can you please give him the list? Vic is going to be at Coors Field today for the Broncos Home Run Derby Challenge. And give him the list of Broncos participating. Leggy will tell us who he believes will win.
Okay.
All right, these are the dudes. Let's see here. I've got it here because I'm one of the MCs. All right, here we go. The Broncos participating: Alex Singleton, Damari Mathis, Jaquan McMillan, Jonathan Cooper, Marvin Mims, Zach Allen, Will Lutz, Jaleel McLaughlin, Cortland Sutton, Quinn Miners, Adam Troutman, Garrett Bowles, and then you've got some influencers, social media: Dude Dad, Ben Verlander, Ryan Ellington, and something called DSARM.
You seem like a Dude Dad viewer.
Yeah, my kids crush me because of my shunning of the influencers. But
if you had to pick one of those names to win the home run derby, who do you pick among the Bronco players?
Well,
oh no, did we lose him?
Frozen Leggy.
Did we lose him right at the time he was going to give us the answer? Oh, wait, is he back? He's back now. Okay.
Yeah, you froze on me. I didn't know what you were doing.
Okay.
You froze up on me.
So out of the list of names that you heard that were Broncos, the winner is going to be who?
Well, Bowles was an elite lacrosse player, so I'm liking him swinging a bat.
No.
And Cortland
different
Sutton,
type of swing.
Yeah, but still,
Okay.
I like the multi-sport guys.
All
right.
Cortland Sutton,
Let him answer the question.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sutton, multi-sport guy. I like the multi-sport guys in this activity.
All right, so Sutton or Bowles are his.
I pick Sutton.
What I was going to say, Brett, because I wanted him to address it. You realize that a baseball swing and a kicking motion are identical. You realize that, right?
That's what Vic told me yesterday.
I'm trying to describe.
You
these
realize
guys.
that? It's just so stupid. He's
Jeff,
look at his face.
Jeff, they're not sophisticated human beings. I'm talking to peasants here, and what I'm trying to describe to them is the kicking motion. The physics of the kicking motion very much similar to the physics of hitting a golf ball.
So do you want to
and they
now
don't
choose
understand
Lutz?
They don't understand.
Do you want to rethink your Lutz non-pick?
Well, I can see Vic struggle with getting you guys to have nuance. I guess I go there, but no, I'm sticking with my multi-sport guys.
Yeah, and it's a great answer. Athletes.
How do you
athletes?
Bowles wasn't just a good lacrosse player. Bowles was like big time.
But how do we know that
I
some
would
of these
not want
guys
to be hit by bulls on a lacrosse field?
I don't know. Some of these guys didn't rake in high school. Like maybe Marvin Mims was a hell of an outfielder.
Yeah,
we don't know.
No, I mean, in my draft prep for all of those guys, I don't remember baseball being in the equation for any of them. But that doesn't mean I also can't remember recycling day. So let's just say I don't remember everything.
Leggy, you're the best. Always appreciate the time. Thank you, buddy.
See you, fellas.